Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, this is Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things through a common sense lens. And we've been talking about the fact that the Walt Disney Company under Bob Iger's leadership is pretty much broke at this point, right? All the evidence is there. They've lost billions of dollars on streaming services. They've lost billions of dollars at the box office from this new ideology they decided to follow down, this new modern audience that they tried to capture with their storytelling and stuff like that. And it simply did not work out very well at all. Well, one of the most absolutely positively most destructive places that this has happened to, of course, is none other than Disney Star Wars. I probably, like many of you out there, were very very hopeful when Disney announced that they were buying George Lucas's Star Wars out there. It was the height of the Marvel era. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to get all these stories from the expanded universe. They're going to be just like Marvel movies. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great. And then, of course, the movies came out, and we saw what kind of a disappointment those were. And then, of course, the television shows haven't really helped anything out there whatsoever. One of the few bright spots out there that a lot of fans and honestly critics have enjoyed as well, of course, is none other than Disney Star Wars' Andor. And with the season 2 just recently wrapping up, Tony Gilroy is doing the press circuit out there and talking about a lot of things. Well, the best part about this is, boys and girls, he is letting the cat out of the bag, essentially confirming that what we have been saying for a very long time, that Disney is broke. Star Wars is not in a good place. Star Wars is dead. And while it turns out Disney Plus is as well, because according to Tony Gilroy, Disney is saying streaming is dead and they are absolutely broke. Ladies and gentlemen, because as you can see over here from the headline from CosmicBook.News, Disney Plus dead. Marvel Star Wars broke, confirms Tony Gilroy. And of course, Matt wasn't the only one to talk about this. IGN even reported on this, and of course, our wonderful That Park Place as well. But you know what? IGN doesn't give you enough information. That Park Place, although is very nice sometimes to have all of the back history, boys and girls, I think we've all extensively covered this on our videos over the last few years about how much of a bad state Disney currently finds itself in. And ladies and gentlemen, with the layoffs that were just reported from the Walt Disney Company as well, this also all confirms even more of that. So we're going to check out this article from CosmicBook.News, get into exactly what the showrunner for Andor, Tony Gilroy, has said about the state of Disney Plus's streaming service and all of the other juicy details behind that. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, we are inching our way closer and closer towards 2K. We're like 3 or 4 subscribers away from that, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Does it surprise you at all that Tony Gilroy is coming out and saying this kind of stuff publicly and admitting the fact that Disney Star Wars is broke and that the Disney streaming services are not doing very well at all? Or do you think he'll end up getting into a bunch of trouble for this and have to backtrack on some of this stuff? Do you think Tony Gilroy is coming out and saying this because he knows his future over there at Disney Star Wars is completely over with the end of Andor Season 2? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. If you like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well and consider becoming a member. All right, from CosmicBook.News and our dear sweet Matt McGloin. Tony Gilroy drops a bomb while reflecting on his time working with Disney on Andor. The creator reveals the Star Wars series cost a whopping $650 million for 2 seasons. Now, we'd heard some initial reports of up to $1 billion for 2 seasons of this show, so $650 million is not surprising at all. That's probably the numbers that he saw for actual production costs. That does include all the marketing and everything else Disney did for this as well. So yeah, the $1 billion probably still isn't out of the realm of possibility at all when you factor in marketing and everything else costs. But Gilroy right here is admitting it cost them at least $650 million. And IGN points out in their article that this cost more than any of the Disney Star Wars movies that they released in theaters for these 2 seasons. Although they only admit to the reported budgets, not the actual numbers that we found out about Rise of Palpatine out there, where once we found out about the tax documents from the UK, it actually turns out this movie cost about $650 million. But of course, that was not the reported budget. But needless to say, this movie cost as much as this television show, 2 seasons cost as much of a theatrical release that made $1 billion globally. Needless to say, I don't think Andor brought in anywhere near $1 billion worth of revenue to the Walt Disney Company. Let's see here. This is the funny part is, yep, by season 2, Disney told him streaming is dead and there is no money. Despite the massive budget, Gilroy says the shows were made without interference, but the reality behind the scenes shows just how broke Disney Plus really is, which also includes Marvel. And obviously, update, Disney has announced sweeping cuts to its entertainment, television, and film marketing teams. Television publicity, casting, and development. All things that would factor in to, of course, Disney streaming being a success or a flop. We'll get more. We'll do another video on all of the layoffs coming soon. Keep an eye out for that, boys and girls. Don't forget to smash that notification bell. So what did Tony Gilroy actually say? Gilroy didn't hold back. While speaking about making of Andor, he exposed just how much Disney spent and how quickly things changed behind the scenes. I mean, for Disney, this is $650 million for 24 episodes. I never took a note. And I mean, seriously, $650 million? That is insane amounts of money. You wonder why Hollywood, and specifically Disney itself, is so very much in the toilet. Well, it's because of budgets like this. You know, if Marvel's would have flopped and the movie only had $100 million budget instead of the reportedly $300 or $400 million budget we had, it wouldn't have been that big a deal. You could have even still made an argument that it kind of almost made a profit. But you're spending $650 million on a television show with the goals that it's going to bring subscribers in at what, $10 a month, $20 a month if they pay for the package without any commercials, without any advertisements in it. Like $650 million on a television show. That is never going to work. That is never going to work out to profitability. That is insane. He says, I never took a note. He said, we said F the Empire in the first season. And they said, can you please not do that? So in season 2, and so they ended up turning the line into, force the Empire. What was it? IGN actually put it out there. I didn't watch Andor, so I don't know, but they actually said it. What was it? Where is it over here? Somewhere, yada, 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 which of course said, please not do that. Fight the Empire. So that initially got changed into fight the Empire. So that was like the only note he ever took. So he says, you please not do that. In season 2, they said, streaming is dead. We don't have the money we had before. I wonder why. Because every single Marvel show that they have produced has continuously had declining returns on viewers over and over and over again. It's the same thing with Star Wars. Practically every new Star Wars television show that has come out has had less viewers than the last one. Don't believe me? Look at Skeleton Crew's numbers, right? Look at, what was the last Disney Plus Marvel show to come out? Echo? Agatha all along? All of those shows had continuously declining numbers. Daredevil Born Again did not chart once on the Nielsen ratings. A first in Marvel's television history on Disney Plus. A show did not chart. Yeah, needless to say, they're bleeding money, and Tony Gilroy, Star Wars' Andor showrunner, is confirming that for us. Disney is broke, boys and girls. So we fought hard about money, but they never cleaned anything up. That freedom comes with responsibilities. Gilroy's comments line up with recent reports that Disney is slashing budgets across the board. It also lines up with exactly what Bob Iger said, who over the next few years, they were going to concentrate on quality and not quantity. Instead of releasing like 5 or 6 shows or 5 or 6 movies a year, they're talking about cutting back to ones and twosies of movies and television shows. We already know we're going to get Daredevil Born Again season 2 probably next year. They're currently shooting it right now. But other than that, most of any of the other projects that they announced or talked about have all been quietly canceled and stuck on the back burner because they don't have the money to do anything that they don't believe will be a success. The reason why they greenlight Daredevil Born Again season 2 or the first season it even aired is because they believed it was a success. Unfortunately, that hasn't worked out for them very much, and considering how much I love the actors and the characters involved in Daredevil, I really hope season 2 does a whole hell of a lot better than season 1, because otherwise it could end up exactly like Andor, because these shows just aren't bringing in any money. They're bringing any new viewers in. They're not bringing any big fan acclaim or any big fan reaction out there to get it talked about in the society and the cultural zeitgeist, to get it trending out there. That simply is not happening. because these story qualities are just crap, and it's because they decided to hire people based on immutable characteristics instead of their actual talent and their worth. This is what happens when you do that. I'm not saying Tony Gilroy falls in that line, but a whole lot of these other showrunners and shows have done that. I mean, that's one of the things that upsets a lot of people inside of Lucasfilm, is because Andor is considered the only good Disney Star Wars. And hey, guess what? Needless to say, that rubs some people inside of there the wrong way. But hey, shout out to Tony Gilroy for getting that success. Disney CEO Bob Iger confirmed streaming lost the company $4 billion. That's just streaming, not what they lost in the box office. Iger also said Disney would be pulling back on both Star Wars and Marvel. The nail in the coffin for Star Wars on Disney Plus was The Acolyte. It reportedly cost north of $200 million, which didn't support the low numbers of fans that tuned in. The Acolyte was quickly canceled. However, its effects were felt by Skeleton Crew, which didn't make the Nielsen charts. A first for a Star Wars show on Disney Plus. Seeing a pattern here, just like with Marvel, the shows just continued to decline over and over and over again because the quality is crap and the fans aren't interested in all of your BS storylines and your diversity hires. It's just not going to work. As a result of the failure of The Acolyte, reports surfaced that Disney would only be releasing one Star Wars show per year. And why would they bother? They tried touting Ahsoka as this big, huge success, but the numbers on the Nielsen ratings did not line up with that in any way, shape, or form. I mean, honestly, I'm of the firm opinion there are certain aspects of Ahsoka that were kind of okay and enjoyable, but that opening scene tells you everything you need to know about Ahsoka. Ahsoka is nothing more than Dave Filoni's pet project and his own personal Tumblr fan fiction. Go watch that first scene with those phallic objects and tell me I am wrong. Disney Plus already has Ahsoka Season 2 currently in the works, and we know why, because that's Dave Filoni's baby. Notice how most of the stories have only been from characters that Dave Filoni was involved with, and how characters that seemingly were dead come back when only because they're Dave Filoni creations. It's weird how that works, huh? It's the same story for Marvel on Disney Plus. Kevin Feige's post-Endgame agenda has been a complete failure. Following wasting billions of dollars on shows nobody watched, like The Marvels, She-Hulk, and Secret Invasion, fans tuned out and didn't tune in for Daredevil Born Again, which is, once again, like we said, the first show not to chart on Marvel, and a show that I think does not deserve all the hate. Is it great? No. Is it pretty good for the most part? Absolutely, and certainly does not deserve to be the lowest watched show on Disney Plus. Not by a long shot. I mean, did any of you see She-Hulk? Holy God. So they talk about Ironheart and Wonder Man. Obviously, those are going to do really bad. They're not going to do any way, shape, or form. So per Gilroy's comments, as part of Iger's pullback, the budgets have been slashed, which is evident from the Marvel shows that failed, such as Echo, Agatha, and Daredevil. Gilroy had a lot of pull thanks to who he is and the fact that he saved Rogue One, and which is actually the only Disney Star Wars movie that I actually enjoy and have gone back and watched more than once. How the cuts impact Ahsoka Season 2 remain to be seen. If it's anything like how they affected Marvel, Ahsoka could be in trouble. It's already been rumored that Season 2 will be its last and Ahsoka will get canceled. So, boys and girls, Tony Gilroy has just confirmed what we've all known for a very long time. Disney's Plus ratings are in the toilet. Disney Plus's streaming service is dead. It's not bringing in any kind of major amount of significant new subscribers. It's not even a number that they're talking about or touting anymore. Now they're only talking about turning things around to be profitability. What does that tell us? It tells us that Disney Plus's streaming service has not been profitable for the get-go, and it won't be for a very long time. Why? Because the stories they continue to create are disastrous dumpster fires based on an identity politics agenda and not good storytelling. It's not good Marvel. It's not good storytelling. It's using Star Wars and Marvel as a flesh suit to push their agenda. And that's what they have done time and time again. And even if the fans out there that aren't particularly political one way or the other, don't particularly care about race swaps or gender swaps or any of that other kind of stuff. And I was just like that. I was a fan very much like that during the CW era. But at the end of the day, even if you don't care about the race swapping and the gender swapping and all of the rest of that kind of nonsense, the storytelling just gets stupid. It gets bad because it's not just the diversity hires that we see on the screen. The exact same kind of hiring practices that go on that we see on the screen also go on behind the scenes inside the Walt Disney Company, inside of Marvel, and inside of Star Wars. We had an executive have a leaked video come out where he flat out said the diversity requirements were tied to their bonuses they got out at the end of their quarter. If there wasn't enough diverse employees inside of your sector, you did not get your bonus at the quarter. So they forced these people to hire people that were not qualified for the job only to get money. And now we see the result of that. We see bad storytelling, we see bad CGI, we see bad direction, and we see horrendous ratings because the fans don't care. And the fact that Tony Gilroy is admitting that Disney internally knows that streaming is dead and they are broke is an absolutely beautiful, wonderful thing to hear. Are any of us surprised? Are the majority of us surprised by this? No, not at all. But it's so nice for all those little idiots out there, all of the little detractors, all of those little Disney pixie dusters, all of those absolute acolytes of the cult who go, Disney's doing fine. These shows are great. You're just an hysterophobe and that's why you hate them. Well, guess what? It turns out, indeed, 2 + 2 does still equal 4. God is still on his throne in heaven, and Disney is broke, boys and girls, because go woke, go broke adage exists for a reason. And now you have Star Wars' Andor showrunner, Tony Gilroy, admitting the fact that that is exactly what has happened behind the scenes to Disney for the decisions they have made. So after all, Disney, you decided to dance with the devil, you got burned, and now you're getting exactly what you deserve. Because after all, go woke, go broke. And Disney Star Wars is very, very much broke.